hi. I wasn't playing about lye safety, okay? I am ready to go. I put my hair up, I bun it up and put a scarf over it. I don't think anyone wants my hair in their soap. I sanitized my counters. I actually do a bleach water rinse of all the equipment before I start. You know, it's going on someone's body. I'm very careful about that. I use gloves even when I'm packaging and putting it in shrink wrap. So I am in long sleeves, I have pants on. The AC is off because I am going to mess with lye. Lye, it's in like a medicine type lid. It is poison if used raw, okay? So when we open that thing, I'm gonna be very careful. So I also like to wear my little soap apron. My dad got it for me. It's got these little pockets. Just one thing I have to say, like before I lost weight, I couldn't even wear aprons. Like I remember I had one in the store and I couldn't even tie it. This thing, and it's a normal apron. I have another one. I have been able to do this. I double tied it. So excited. Anyway, I just had to share my excitement. Let's get back to soap. I forgot to mention last time, you do need a thermometer. If you don't have a kitchen thermometer, I love the infrared. You just hit a button and you flash it right at it with the light. You can see it and it'll tell you the degrees just electronically. Love it. And it's a good price. I linked it up on the last video, but I did forget to mention it. I still get a little nervous on camera. Why? I only use metal spoons or you can use silicone, but no plastic, don't do that. I use a glass measuring cup. This is not ever gonna be used on food. And this plastic container from the Dollar Tree, I use a few of them because what I like to do, lye and distilled water. Once lye hits that distilled water, it activates the lye. You don't want it sitting around. Obviously it's poison, but I want it in a sealed container. But if I'm gonna do, say like a few batches over the next few days, I might do lye all in one batch and have different containers. So I have like 6 of these little containers just so that I don't have to handle lye every time I'm gonna handle my batch. I'm gonna handle lye when I'm gonna do a batch, right? It's just that when you have to, the first step, and that's what we're gonna do right now, is to measure out your distilled water, weigh it out, and then slowly add the powdered airborne type. It's really tiny little beads, tiny little beads. So then you wanna slowly add that, and I add it through a sieve. To the water. You don't want to do it the other way or you're going to have an explosion. So it's chemistry. But then it gets up to like 200 degrees. I don't even know. We'll check it with the thermometer. It gets really hot. I like to put it like, you're going to feel your container's going to get hot. I put it on a towel on my counter because it's just really hot. And don't get anyone near it. Don't let animals, kids. I mean, this is a real safety measure. So a lye burn, it hurt worse than a stove burn. So no. Next is I'm going to put on the screen a screenshot of my soap recipe. My soap recipe is, except for with this one, we're going to give a little alteration. What I do with the lye mixture is I only do half the water, because what I'm going to do is once the lye is ready to be added to the oils, which will be once it cools at a lower temperature, I usually soap below 130 degrees. A little cooler is nicer, actually. It works better. You'll find that temperatures do matter when it comes to mixing that lye mixture because it's an activator. So if it's hot, it could burn your soap. Okay, so it could burn those oils, and you're soaping and making a soap bar out of cooked oils, and it's a whole mess. Temperatures matter. Okay, so that's why a thermometer is so important. So back to the next screenshot. It is of the website of www.soap, S-O-A-P, calc, C-A-L-C, .net. I will link it below. If you are interested, it will calculate for you. There's also demo videos and separate videos just to use soap calc. I put the screenshot of mine. However, I am changing it up. I couldn't figure out on the calculator how to reformulate that my lye mixture is going to have coconut milk. So that's why I'm going to cut my water in half. This is the only coconut milk I like to use, the Thai brand, because it's simple ingredients, coconut and water. You'll find that if you want to use coconut milk, you can use it in the cans. I've actually used Dollar Tree coconut milk and it worked just fine, but it does have some sugar. Sugar will work with your lye and burn your soap. So be careful when you're using sugar additives. That's why I prefer this one. It moves so fast when it's a coconut milk with sugar added. And when I mean by moving, your soap will start to harden in your bucket before you even mold it. It'll be what's called a soaper's term as soap on a stick. And it literally is. I've had to plops of soap into a mold, and it doesn't turn out as creative and as pretty as I like if it's moving that way. So that's why I prefer not to soap with a coconut milk with sugar added. What we're gonna do is just set it on the scale, and then we're gonna hit this tare button. So it zeroes it out, so it discounts the size. So our water is on the calculator, it is at 11.74. But because I'm using coconut milk and water in the lye mixture, I'm going to use 6 ounces of coconut milk and cut that water down to 5.74. So we're gonna pour till it's 5.74. Perfect. 5.1 is okay with the water. In lye, we need to pour 5.78. What I'm gonna do is cover my hand so it doesn't go flying out, closing it back up. I don't wanna touch this stuff. Clumps, and I want it to dissolve and not be half dissolved. I don't wanna mess with this. We're gonna use the spatula and get the rest of it out. Do not touch it with your glove. All right, I can hear it. Ooh, it's just like a little bit splashed. It's hot, it's hot. And do not shake this thing. My kid wanted to shake it one time. I was like, no. Okay, so we're good. We're gonna let that sit until we get it cool. The temperature of this thing, actually, here. $214 degrees, okay? This is some hot stuff. I will come back as soon as this stuff has cooled. Okay, our lye is here and it has cooled. I'm gonna go ahead and open it. You can see. Okay, now we're gonna use our infrared thermometer. 74 degrees. Okay, so I do not use lye right away. That is the last step in the process, but we have to prep it beforehand. So we're gonna set that aside. Just so you know, I chilled it by room temperature. I put it on a towel because it is hot and just let it go at room temperature for a few hours till it chilled. You can rush the process a little. I think if you put it in an ice bath, you can do that. I wouldn't recommend putting it in the fridge just because I'm food safety and lye. No. Okay, live lye is not food safe, just so you know. Okay, so what I started to do was measure out my oils. Someone asked me, actually, why do I soap in a pitcher like this with a lid? This was important to me. The reason being is because I work in small batches. I do not do more than 2 loaves at a time. I am not that comfortable of a soaper. I'm just pouring in the rest of my oils. The oils, anyway, I go small batches. So that's why if I am going to do a bunch of batches that week, a bunch of soap, I will break them into containers in the small batches, about 48 ounces of oil, and prep it all in one day, kind of like a meal prep. I like doing that so I don't have to break the scale out every single time and deal with lye every single time, break out all the jugs of oil. I don't keep my soap supplies in my kitchen, so I have to break it out every single time. So that's why I like these pitchers. I just batch them with all the ingredients, the right amounts, leave them in here. You can go on for a little while. Put the lid on. I have about 6 of these, and that's how I work it. So measuring out the separate oils, I do not just start putting it on the scale and just add this oil, and look at the weights. I can't do that, only because I am a heavy pourer, just like I'm a lead foot driver. I'm a heavy pourer, and all the time I end up going a little over. So I use these little guys on the scale, the little Dollar Tree cups, to measure out. So like 9 ounces of olive oil. I'll do olive oil, then pour it into the big batch. It just works better for me, but these are just the oil compounds that stay in an oil consistency. Now we're gonna work with butters. Butters, this is, well, it's actually coconut oil, not in a warm temperature. In a warm temperature, coconut oil is liquid. It's still formed, and it's also shea butter. I'm gonna nuke it in the microwave in 40-second bursts until it becomes liquid form. Same thing, I have palm oil in here. Now I do know that some soapers, because of palm oil, we'll talk, will not use palm oil because of the orangutans, and I understand that. I do buy responsibly sourced. However, there are recipes, and I want to try them out more, where you use more cocoa butter to form the hardness. Palm oil, it gives a nice hardness to the bar. I haven't found a recipe that I have worked with that I like yet. This is my tried and true recipe. I love it, works well every time. The only difference is when I might have a fast moving fragrance. So let's talk fragrance while we're waiting on those oils to melt. Okay, my fragrance that I'm using today is from the soap store, is white, from Arizona, AZ Soap Supply. It is white gardenia flowers. However, I found the exact same fragrance on brambleberry. Just look up gardenia, and it's perfect. Now, if you read labels, or if the manufacturer has a website to have more information, pay attention to IFR rates. Some, such as like essential oils, have different usage rates. You don't want to just follow the rule of thumb, which is 0.7 ounces per pound of soap. If there is a warning or anything like that. So check out with your supplier. That's why I say it's always so good to work with a reputable supplier. If they don't give you that information, then I probably wouldn't use them. Because it is a floral fragrance, it is fast moving. So I'm going to add the fragrance right before I add the lye. When we looked at the lye temperature, when we first poured the lye, it was over 200 degrees. So that's why we have to let it sit. But when it comes to the whole shebang, the oils and temperature, I soak below 130. You don't want to scorch these oils or butters, and it could have a really funky reaction. So we don't want that. I'm just gonna take my Dollar Tree whisk. There's just a couple of chunks. And the reason we melt these down is not to heat these oils up, because these are at room temperature at like 73 degrees. Is because we don't want butter chunks in our soap. We want it fully dispersed, right? So that's why we melt it. So let's go ahead and pour, and we'll scrape that out. Ooh, it's warm. Yes, soap does create a lot of dishes. I know some people use a double boiler on their stove to heat their oils. I think that would be a good idea if you're working in big batches. Since I work in small batches, I'm comfortable doing it this way. So the next thing we're talking about is the fragrance. I already calculated my fragrance usage. So I have 60 ounces of soap. This one follows the 0.7 rule. So that means that if you take 60 divided by 16, because 16 ounces in a pound, you get 3.75, multiply that by 0.7, it's 2.62. I dropped the 2.6 ounces of fragrance. So what I add to my fragrance is kaolin clay. I keep it in a jar. 2 tablespoons. It anchors your fragrance. Plus this one does not have any colorant. I love a good clay. So I like to add it. And it's just 2 tablespoons. What I do is add it directly to my fragrance. But we're not gonna do fragrance until just before we add that lye. So this one's fully dispersed. Looks good. I love these Dollar Tree little silicone things. I keep, I color code. So if I buy them for my kitchen, they're always blue and gray is my soap. And also I need to write Sharpie on that one. They're new. I had to get some new ones. I tossed my old ones. They were just looking funky with all the soap I made. You do have to replace them after a while. And why not go to the Dollar Tree and save some money? Okay. There's our palm oil. Oh, and I forgot to mention, with soap, I'm okay with just soaping on my countertops, but with candles, I am not. I do not want to scrape up wax off my countertops. So anytime you're doing a messy project, again, Dollar Tree, save some money, go in the kitchen section, get these clear mats. I use them to line my fridge. I use them for everything, but they're perfect for this type of work if you want to protect your counters. Soap is okay. I had something down when I was just messing with the lye, but you know, why not have easy cleanup? And those, if you can wipe them down real easy, but if they get grungy, you're not crying if you throw them out. Anyway, so we're gonna break out this handy dandy stick blender. I need an extension cord here. Okay, so we're gonna just, this is called a stick blender. You can pulsate it. So I'm just gonna try to pulsate it. I don't wanna like go crazy because I don't want it splashing on me. Oh, and by the way, I will cut some of this out because of the noise, but I just wanna mention, don't put it down at the bottom. Like I have done this to a Dollar Tree bowl. These are warm oils, so let's check this out. But put it down so far, it scraped the bowl and broke the bowl. So be careful. Let's look at this temperature. 113, perfect. So it was at 73. Heating up those butters brought it to the perfect temperature that I like to soap at. All right, let's go. Let's get soaping. Okay, it's a good drip consistency. It's fully dispersed. It's looking really, really good. Okay, so it's a creamy, almost yellowish with the oils, white. So what we're gonna do is, oh, I forgot a tablespoon. Hold on. Yes, I do realize I'm reusing, I grabbed an extra yogurt land spoon because you'll start noticing this when you start designing soap tops. Oh my goodness, because you can make these designs, you can use a fork, you can do swirls at the top, you can just use all kinds of things. I've used spatulas and just to kind of make a pretty soap top. That's a lot of the art form of it. Well, I like the thickness because not all spoons have a wide tip. And I think Zoo Pals used to have spoons like these. These make really good soap tops. So I use this a lot in my soaping. I grabbed them at Yogurt Land. Okay, so we're gonna use 2 tablespoons. It's about a tablespoon. It says the recipe, you wanna use a tablespoon per pound of oil. So I did the calculation. It said it was actually a little over 2, so we're okay if we're not an exact measurement of 2 tablespoons on this one. Okay, that. I'm gonna whip this up real quick. I find that when adding clays or powders, disperse it in something small before you put in your whole batch so it doesn't chunk up. I know that Brambleberry and other soapers will take just a little bit of oil out of here, pour it in their measuring cup, mix it up. I use clay right in my fragrance because kaolin clay or rose clay or anything else will anchor your scent, hold it longer. And you know, I've had soap bars that 4 years later still have a really nice strong scent. Kind of crazy. No, I don't recommend keeping your soap bars that long, but I did keep some from my original batches. I think I have like 3, just as historical, sentimental purposes, but use your soap. They have a shelf life of 2 to 3, I think it's actually 4 years, depends. It's not gonna go rancid. The lye keeps it from doing that. It shouldn't, but I don't recommend holding on to soap for 10 years to use. As Royalty Soap says, scrapey, scrapey. I love her personality. Check her out. She does fun, bright soaps, and she's really, really outgoing and bubbly, and it's a whole family business. I really admire that, and I think that's so cool. She's on YouTube, by the way. Okay, we scraped that out. More dishes. Let's go ahead and blend it up. Okay, it's not going to be getting real thick until I add the lye. So we're back. I'm going to take this out for a moment. It's still real runny, but it smells so good. Okay. I'm going to use a kitchen sieve that, again, is for soap. Kind of almost fits in there. Because I don't want chunks of lye. If your lye is not correctly dispersed, it'll affect the pH level. And we don't want that. We want a good conditioning, good bar. So this is why I do this. The lye pour. Now we're gonna try to get everything out of there because we don't want to mess with our chemistry. I'm just taking one of my oils. Usually it comes right out, no problem. I don't see many chunks or anything. You just want to kind of rub it in. It's not as airborne crazy once it's mixed with water. Like, it's not affecting me right now. I don't feel itchy or anything like that. But still, lye safety is very important until it's mixed and fully formed into a soap bar. Let's get blending. Dirty dishes. Okay. It's getting thicker. You see that? It's almost like a runny pudding. Oh, there we go. That's the batter we need. So we gotta move it. Okay. Let's get this going. I should have prepped the bars beforehand of the flowers. So that is what we call almost soap on a stick. So this is fast, that floral fragrance. Oh my God. I can't get my blender out of here. Oh my God. It's stuck. Oh no. Okay. This is soap on a stick. Holy crap. Okay, we are gonna have to do something later, which is add the floor. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is a gone batch. This is dead. This is a bad batch. That floral fragrance, oh my gosh, I should have only mixed like a couple seconds after I shouldn't have stick blended it. Holy, I told you floral fragrances move badly. I can't get this out. Ah, it's hot. Okay, when soap goes bad. I'm going to try to salvage this. This might be that I have to melt it down and hot process it. I don't think I can save this. Whoa. This should not be like this, okay? Soap on a stick. Wow. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. A soap fail. I am just having some fails this month. I don't know why, but that's okay. That is absolutely okay. I learned from this soap making. This is actually the first floral scent that I have done in 4 years. So I decided that I wanted to keep it real and share the fail and just leave that as a separate video. I was going to make another batch. We don't need a long video. I will, because I have to wait for the lye again and it's gonna be a few days. So this is good. You know, I really try to be transparent that, you know, this isn't a cheap hobby. This isn't an easy hobby or business because of the chemistry and the reactions, and one ingredient can make a difference. And I realized, so nervous, and I had it sitting like right next to me, in front of me, the coconut milk. Totally forgot to add it. So that would account for the soap moving and becoming soap on a stick. I didn't add an ingredient, and a liquid ingredient matters. It will obviously it forms harder, faster. Also, a fast moving floral fragrance will do that. Not quite that bad. I have not seen it go from 0 to 60. Like, I think it was this. So, that's what happens. You're very careful not to sell anything that is not a quality product. The recipes followed, I will not use this batch. So that is what soap on a stick is. The first time I worked with rose scent or a floral like that, this is heavily floral fragrance. It moved really, really fast. And what I had to do was it became soap on a stick. It is still safe. It is still pH balanced. I have pH strips. I test my soap. When they are done in being cut, I will test them then, and I test them again after they have cured the 4 weeks. You can save it. I can save it. I can absolutely use it. What you do is rebatch it, and you can either use a double boiler on the stove, melt it, or use a crock pot. Melt it down, add my coconut milk, stick blend it in the crock pot, and repour. Salvageable. But for the aesthetic purposes, for this wedding order, that's not okay with me. So we're gonna do it again. I will refilm the process, and once it's successful, I will share. This is all a learning process. I haven't soaped with a floral fragrance in probably 4 years. Yeah, 4 years. I made other soap. I made Fruit Loops and fruity stuff, but not a floral. So yeah, that's what happens. This is how important it is to follow the recipe. I didn't have it right in front of me because I was so concerned about being on video. But usually I go step by step, because as you're moving and you see that soap moving, like you saw how the batter got thick real quick, you get real nervous. I do. I get like real anxious. I'm like, oh, I gotta get it in the mold, gotta get it in. And I totally forgot my coconut milk. So happens to every soaper. So I wanted to share that. And so we will come back again with butterfly gardenia soaps, but I am taking a long weekend. It is my birthday tomorrow, so I hope you have a wonderful day, and thanks for watching. And if I made you laugh, you're welcome. And here is soap on a stick. Thanks for watching.